the Minnesota Vikings officially moving on from superstar receiver Adam Ezekiel Thielen, now the question is, where will the pride of Detroit Lakes hang a shingle in 2023? And it's always funny, too, where it's don't want to say trash, but it's like when a team moves on from a player, and whenever he hits free agency, other fan bases are always like, we need him. It's like, so one person's trash is another team's treasure. Yeah, that whole thing. And again, not saying that Thielen's trash, not trying to be harsh here. I think that he does have some football left in him, but I mean, do teams see him as a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3-4? We'll see. But question is, where is Thielen's next team going to be? So we've broken it down into a couple categories: contenders, meh, as well as paycheck, right? So, of course, when he was released, Pelissero was like, oh, he wants to go somewhere where he can be a contender. But, I mean, every single player that gets released says that they want to go to a contender, but sometimes they just go to wherever the money's the most. That's what happens, man. I don't blame them. It's the NFL, not for long. Get yours while you can. So we're going to run through. And these are in no particular order, but just various stratas and some thinking about where he could land. So first off, contenders: Chiefs, Bills, Lions, Eagles. So the Chiefs, yes. Mahomes, yes. Andy Reid, yes. Winning all those Super Bowls, as well as they probably are going to move on from Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think that Thielen could be a nice replacement for Juju in Kansas City. The Bills, well, if Stephon Diggs doesn't get traded, I mean, reuniting, and it feels so good with Stephon Diggs in Buffalo, and also being able to work with Josh Allen could be appealing. And plus, I mean, Thielen, he's born in Minnesota, so he's used to Buffalo-like weather in western New York. So we'll see. Although, would Thielen be about New York State income taxes? I don't know, man. Detroit, where, I mean, it seems like it was relatively amicable. The Vikings just wanted him at a lower rate as well as a reduced role, and Thielen thinks that he has earned his rate and earned his role. So it was just one of those spots versus there wasn't like animosity there. But if he wants to stick it to the Vikings twice a year, and the way that the Vikings cornerbacks looked last year, maybe he sees that. I mean, he practiced against them every single day. But joining up with the Lions, especially since they could lose DJ Chark, ironically, to the Vikings in free agency. But him, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, working with Jared Goff and Ben Johnson, that's going to be pretty good. Now, I listed the Eagles because the Eagles seem to sign every veteran. I mean, they signed Sue and Linval Joseph last offseason. But with the Eagles, yes, it's A.J. Brown, it is Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert is a tertiary option as well. But could Thielen slot in, pun intended, as a third, fourth option? Possibly. And then the last of the contenders. So I listed the Vikings. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you've seen spots before where players and agents, they overestimate the market. They don't get the contract that they've been looking for. They don't find the role that they've been looking for. And the Vikings clearly had some interest in bringing Thielen back at a reduced rate and reduced role. So maybe, I don't see it happening, but maybe we just need to list it. So then going through the mess. So you got the Patriots, and the Patriots could be losing Jacoby Myers in free agency. Of course, Thielen famously had that sideline riff with Belichick a couple years ago, but I think that's water under the bridge. I think that Thielen could provide some security for Mac Jones underneath. Who knows? Cowboys. So the Cowboys need to add more speed at receiver. I'm like, CeeDee Lamb's not a burner. Amari Cooper is getting older. Michael Gallup is getting out of there. So I don't know. And there's a lot of rumors that the Cowboys could add DeAndre Hopkins. Could they satisfy that need for a sure-handed receiver who can't really get separation by signing Thielen for a cheap rate as opposed to having to trade for Nuke and then pay him? I don't know. Ravens are always looking for wide receivers, so that makes sense there. The Jaguars. So I actually think that the Thielens live part of the year in Florida anyway, and Jacksonville. Duval is on the rise with Trevor Lawrence and company. Could find himself a role, even though the Jaguars are pretty deep at receiver, especially getting Calvin Ridley back, and also Christian Kirk is certainly outperforming things, and Zay Jones, but. It also goes into like standard of living and also cost of living to a degree. Plus Florida, no state income tax, great weather. So would make sense there. Carolina. Frank Reich, I think they're going to build something special and unique in Carolina. I think that they're going to be rising up. You got the Jets. Of course, I think that the connection between Thielen and Rodgers is little bit stronger than you may think. So even though the Jets, they got Garrett Wilson, they got Elijah Moore, they got Tyler Gronklin in the passing game, and I mean, hell, it's very. Sauce Gardner has been alluding to package deals. Could it be a spot where the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers and then Allen Lazard just magically signs with the Jets as a free agent? It's possible, but also, I mean, going to New Jersey, state taxes, as well as playing in New York, is that really what Thielen wants to do? I don't know. The Browns do make a lot of sense, too, where, yes, they could certainly use some help on the outside. Deshaun Watson working his way, first full season as a Browns quarterback, plus Stefanski. You can't sleep on that connection. Then you got, plus, Kwesi's mentor Andrew Berry is still GM with the Browns, so there will be an open line of communication there, about what kind of player Thielen is, when Thielen is completely above board and all that stuff. And they got the Broncos, where Jumpin' George Payton is still their GM. He was assistant GM here with the Vikings for a number of seasons, and they could be looking to move on from Cortland Sutton. So having some help on the outside makes sense there, and then just paychecks. So the Bucs, I mean, everything we said about Jacksonville makes sense with Tampa Bay. They are going to be taking a huge step back, especially if they're rolling with Kyle Trask. The offense was a mess last year, but you're working with Mike Evans if they don't trade him. You're working with Godwin if they don't trade him. So it could make sense there. Cardinals, Drew Petzing, former assistant wide receivers and wide receivers coach for the Vikings, knows Thielen. It is Vikings West down there in Arizona with John Gannon and Nick Rollis, as well as Petzing, first-time offensive coordinator. Plus, they're going to need some wide receiver help as A.J. Green retired. They cut Robbie Anderson, as well as they're potentially looking to trade Nuke Hopkins. The Bears need a lot of help, man, and the Bears have a ton of cap space. And could it be a spot where so the Bears and the Packers, where again, if Thielen is feeling vindictive, being able to play the Vikings twice a year, sure. I mean, the Bears would certainly be a less of an evil than the Packers. And if the Bears are just offering stupid, ridiculous money, and he's seen what Justin Fields can do, maybe. Sure. And the Packers, I don't see that happening, although the Packers are probably going to lose Lazard in free agency, and it would be the ultimate heel turn. Like, you have the Minnesota kid who grew up as a Vikings fan, probably grew up hating the Packers, and then all of a sudden just joins them. I don't know, man. Then you got the Texans. I mean, the Texans are a mess. Going to be a mess for a while, but Texas, no state income tax, can completely start over. A new rookie quarterback TBD, and go from there. And then, of course, you got the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, no state income tax. Who the hell knows who the quarterback is going to be, but I don't know. Nashville. I like Nashville hot chicken. I like some barbecue. I like some country music, so why not? But that's it. That's a look at potential Adam Thielen landing spots. We basically listed every single team. Why not? Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.